Okay. Hello and welcome to Let Me Talk. It is officially 11:02 p.m. We are 2 minutes late. I sincerely apologize. I was otherwise entertained. We have our guest.
Wait, is this on?
Yeah, come sit. We have our guest who is also joining us a little late because he had to relieve himself at the laboratory.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Jack Degnan. He is, for some reason, going to share a mic with me instead of getting his own one.
I prefer the intimate approach.
Okay. With your breath smelling like beautiful tobacco, we shall continue with our podcast. Let me talk. This is the 3rd of April. 4 days until my birthday. Oh my good golly gosh. I can't believe it. 4 days until I can no longer say I'm a teenager. 4 days until I enter the pursuit of adulthood.
Wait, you're 19?
Yes, I am 19, Tom.
What the fuck?
Yes, I know. What the flippity flip? How the flip am I still 19? I'm so good looking, handsome, and strong, and accomplished in my life. Yet I am still a mere teenager. I have no idea how that happened. Anyway, I would like to introduce my guest for this evening, for the next hour, alongside Tom, who is still doing the music cues right now. It is Jack Degnan. How are you?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As I've previously been introduced, my name is Jack, and honestly, I take it as a great compliment that I've been required for this evening's episode, because
Your second time on the show.
my second time on the show, my first time was rather heated, to say the least. I got into a political confrontation. I did know that it was about to happen, but little did I know the environment in which I would be placed in. Would you like to elaborate on the contents?
Okay, so we're talking about the first actual episode of Let Me Talk. You are a real one, if you remember this. It was the Scottish independence debate, actually, with my good friend Jack, and another opposition, and they debated it out for an hour about Scottish independence. It was a very interesting episode. It was at the start of our Let Me Talk journey, where we wish to keep things more political. However, we have taken a slightly different approach today with my guest Jack. We are talking about all matter of things, social, music, whatever we like. And we hope you enjoy the next hour. And it's interesting that we start talking about music, actually, because me and Jack were actually talking about albums today and the art of albums. Albums are they're a very interesting thing, actually, because especially nowadays, when we consume everything through like streaming content, Spotify, Apple Music, when a new album releases, and I've seen this from my friends, I've seen this from other people, they'll play a song for 30 seconds, skip through, see if there's like something that grabs them, and then they'll add it to their playlist. And then they'll skip through, see something that grabs them, add it to the playlist, add it to the playlist. No one, I feel like, listens to albums in full anymore. And this is a tragedy. This is a Greek tragedy. As I was talking to my mother, she was saying that...
Is your mother Greek?
She is not Greek. She is... It does not matter what my mother is, Jack. Okay?
Well, I already know.
I wish you stop talking about such derogatory content on my radio show. Okay, anyways, we're talking about albums, right? I think, like, she put it so well when she said these artists spend years of their life creating these sounds for us to enjoy, and we can't bear yet 40 minutes to enjoy it.
That's on the person, though. That's not...
It's on the person, but it's also it's a very popular attitude right now. This is what we're talking about.
Would you really say so?
I think so.
Would you say it's more...
I think singles are more listened to right now, or more... When you hear about new music, it's always new singles rather than a new big album that everyone's listening to. That hasn't happened for a while. I don't think so.
I'd say... hello, hi, it's Tom. I've joined the show. I'd say it's sort of linked to the fact that albums these days seem to me to be more like big playlists. if you listen to Jack Harlow's First Class album, which I think was incredibly disappointing,
Me too.
It seems like one big playlist of. Oh my god, they've added lights to the.
Get very funky in here. Okay.
Jesus, hello. Yeah, I think they've. Albums seem to be more like playlists these days. I mean, I'm a huge, notoriously a huge Pink Floyd fan, and Floyd to me are the quintessential concept albums. The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, it's a concept, and it runs through the entire album. Whereas I think a lot of people who make albums these days make them as glorified playlists.
Would you say so?
I do, yeah.
So, in terms of glorification of playlists, where would you rank your own personal accolades in that sense?
I don't make. Well, I try and make music, but I've not uploaded any music. I've not made an album. What do you mean?
No, your playlist though. Like, if you were to make an album out of your playlists,
what? Wait, what does that mean?
like your own playlist, for example, if you were to compose an album out of your own,
Right, but that's looking at. I'm saying more that like an album should be a whole concept from an artist. It doesn't have to be The Wall or something like. It doesn't have to tell a story. But if you look at Tyler the Creator does very well with his albums. They're distinct in each feature. There's a distinct feature about each album, whether it's Call Me If You Get Lost, whether it's Igor. It's something complete. The sound matches the whole album. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, it does make a wee bit of sense, can't lie. Would you like to?
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting how you would define a well put together album, considering there's a lot of artists that have tried to. I don't know why Ed Sheeran comes to my mind, for example, but like Divide, the whole concept of that album is every song is distinct. Every song is different. So if you're saying that a song is like an album is cohesive, I don't really agree that cohesive means that it shares the same elements in terms of like similarity of sound. I think in terms of message, in terms of content, is what is important, I reckon. Or unless you have distinctly, like with Ed Sheeran's album, you have distinctly said that each song has to be completely different. So, it's an interesting one.
What I would like to know is, could you help my brain in terms of Ed Sheeran's Divide album recount the hits or the bangers, so to speak? Because I can't say that ranks highly in terms of my musical preferences.
Well, in terms of musical preferences, Jack, you have very few. But Ed Sheeran created Divide, which was a huge smash hit.
Favourite hit from that album, please, Calm.
Favourite hit? I've got to be honest, I do like a saucy bit of Perfect.
Because Callum, you look perfect tonight.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, it's getting quite intimate in this room right now, especially with the saucy guitar licks we've got going on. Would you like to play as a song, Tom?
Oh, what the fuck? That is out of tune.
Like...
I was playing it earlier. Why is it out of tune? Yeah, what has happened to that E? Oh my god.
That E is gone.
Right, boys. Gentlemen, do you want to explain to the audience what you've had to drink tonight? I'm sober, by the way.
What we've had to drink? We have had... you want to go first, Jack, actually? Come on.
Yeah, so when I returned home from my classes this fine afternoon, my roommate or / flatmate these days informed me that he was in a vibrant mood, a mood that took him to the place of wanting to make cocktails. And he splashed out, he bought some Kool-Aid.
Name that roommate.
He goes by the name of Callum.
There we go. There we go, for those that didn't understand. He's right there.
He happens to be the host on this fine podcast. So... As I was previously mentioning, I returned home and he met my gaze holding a bottle of, is it Kool-Aid?
It was red cola.
I don't know what the youth call it these days. Red cola and a bottle of gin. And obviously that perks up my mood. So he heads to the kitchen. He rattles me up a fine beverage, might I add. And it kind of kicked off from there. I consumed perhaps 3 of those. And would you like to comment on how many?
It was one of the best, one of the highest quality beverages I've ever cooked up. I will be completely honest. A saucy little bit of red cola with some tonic gin and a beautiful glass to go with it. It was one of the finest things you have ever seen. However, I might have indulged a certain I might have slightly overindulged. But, we're carrying on. We're going to talk about a range of different topics on this show. While Tom plays his beautiful guitar licks in the background.
You said indulge in alcohol. I just did the...
You got alcohol?
Okay. I want to talk about cooking.
Oh, fucking hell.
Now, Callum, why do you want to talk about cooking, Callum?
I want to talk about cooking.
Wow, what an interesting segue into something else I wanted to talk about this show.
Right, okay.
Mary
Berry, yeah. Okay, Gordon Ramsay. My point, right, my question is, do you think, like...
I don't actually.
Cooking, or the art of cooking, is important to your life? What do you think, Jack? Is the art of cooking important to your life? Is the art of, seeing cooking as, like, something to be explored? Is that something that you see in your life as something important?
Well, cooking for me, I see it on a scale of would I scran it or would I not scran it? And that boils down to my own cooking abilities. Because I feel like if I had the prowess of Gordon Ramsay in a cocina, then I would indulge myself in the finer, the finer foods in life. However, I know my limits. I know my capabilities. But I excel at those. I can make a banging chicken thigh. I can spice that bad boy up, and I'm having a fun night. So I feel like cooking, it not necessarily it makes a fine meal. It's more like your mindset going into it,
So you're a simple man, a man of simple taste. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I wouldn't quite define it in that sense. I purely enjoy what I taste, and I know what I want to do.
He's saying you have no taste.
I don't know,
How does
man.
that make
Like,
you feel?
For me as an observer, Jack, the meals that you, I want to put quotation marks around the word cook. The meals that you cook up are, in short, horrendous. They're scarcely meals.
Can you not scream into the microphone, please, Colin? Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do it.
I will scream.
Do not do it.
Say sorry right now.
Okay.
Don't
do
anyway,
it.
so
Just put it a little bit further away
as
from
an
your face.
observer of Jack's cooking, he is very simplistic and very minimal.
Oh, minimalist.
He's like 2013 Kanye. He's very minimal in the art that he creates.
1 second.
It's very much chicken thighs,
Disclosure.
salt and pepper.
Jesus came out in 2013.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Anyway, chicken thighs, salt and pepper, at least 20 of them in a bowl, and the scran commences. This is what I see. While I'm sitting here with my beautiful sandwich with lettuce, both sides, with some mayonnaise on both sides, with some lettuce, some tomatoes, and a beautiful steak slice. Oh, fantastic. Anyway, I feel like that's enough talking about food for one day.
I'd say, well, Callum, do you want to explain to us why you were talking about food?
Talking about food. I'm incredibly hungry. I can't lie.
Sure.
I would also like to talk about. There's another, like, a slightly more interesting topic than food. I'll be honest. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I don't explore this town enough. Do you know what I mean?
There's not much.
But I can't remember the last time I went to the beach, or I went to Castle Sands. I feel like I have the same. I feel like I have the same route every single day, and that's my house, on Kinnisburn River, to Younger Hall to the Union, to maybe get some lunch, and then back home. And this has been my day for the past month, and for some reason I've had this kind of thought that like, oh, why don't I just take a walk around, maybe go near the pier, maybe go round. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I say that, and then I go back home and sit on my phone for half an hour. And I think my time management, this speaks a lot about my time management. I think a lot of people in St Andrews, their time management is very poor. Like, we tend to think we don't have a lot of time for things because maybe of like a tutorial work we have to do. But we can do that tutorial work and hang out with a friend, maybe get coffee, and we can maybe play a game on Xbox, maybe watch a film. 2 hours. The amount of time we spend on TikTok or I don't know, just doing random shit that we don't need to do.
I agree.
We could fill up with
I agree.
so much. I can't remember the last time I took a walk on the beach, for example.
I agree. I think
I'm only going to be here for another 2 years. I'm not going to have much chance to do that again.
I agree in terms of I did notice this about myself, that when I wake up in the morning, I always blame my insomnia and stuff, which is true. That's the reason I don't fully wake up. But I do also blame the fact that I'll just go on my phone and I'll just scroll through Instagram Reels for 2 hours. And I think that is one part. I don't want to talk about the older generation saying like, oh, they were better than us and everything. But you think about it, they got out of bed. It was just like, on with the day. They had purpose to do something.
It's true. But that I feel like that was the normality, though. Like, they probably had other vices that they had to control. You know, we have...
Crippling alcoholism.
Of course. But I feel like our vice today is TikTok. Or, like, short reels or whatever. Short-term videos. Some of them are hilarious, I won't lie. Me and Jack spend so much time.
Jack, do you see that moose get hit by a car?
What?
Do you see that moose get hit by a car?
I did see the moose get. I sent that. I don't know if I sent it to you.
To all my friends who don't notice about me, I love
that moose
videos.
went flying.
Dude!
He absolutely got scalped into the air. Sorry, I'm shouting, but the moose did get absolutely.
Callum, I've shown you that video, right?
Which moose are we referring to?
Is this the one where the moose slide cancels and the guy breaks? And
Right, so for a bit of context on the moose to car action. So the car is going down the highway as it happens to spot a moose. And normal, I don't know in which way this car has been trained to handle these sort of situations, but I do understand how it might be beneficial to slow down, and that's exactly what it does. But the moose doesn't fucking slow. Is it too early for profanity? Or?
My guy, we're the last show of the day.
Right. Well, the moose doesn't fucking slow down, and it makes direct contact with the car. And I've never seen more 360s in the air in my lifetime than this poor wee moosey.
It took so much air. The moose went from being like almost all the way through the road to being in the fields.
Tom, have you ever had a chocolate mousse? I know this is a bit out of context.
Oh, yo, that's bars. Hit a moose.
Yeah.
Brown like a chocolate mousse. Oh.
I mean, I was going to say we could hit the booth, but we're in the booth.
Leave it red like red velvet. Oh.
You could be my ghostwriter.
Oh, maybe I'll take a hit. Damn. No, I like chocolate mousse. Mousse au chocolat, as you call it in French. There's different types. For people who don't know, there's different types. In my area, we have something... Well, not in my area. In the part of France that I grew up in, they have a thing called the Liégeois, which is actually quite ironic. That's the part of Belgium I'm from.
I was going to say, I thought you were a Belgian boy.
No, I was born in South France. Well, yes. But I was born in South... Yes, but actually, no, but yes. I was born in the south of France. Actually, do you want to say really funny? You know how I always talk about... I'm from Oman. Well, I grew up in Oman.
Yes.
Today in improv, we did a game called the Post-it Game. It's my first time doing it. And me and my improv partner, Holly, they posted... The audience had to write something on a Post-it. And they posted it all throughout us. And the theme and the theme of the scene was academic uncle and fresher. Now, I was the fresher.
That sounds like a scary part of the internet to go on.
Yeah, so she was the academic uncle, I was the fresher. And the scene quickly turned to saying, oh, my academic dad is called Tom. And essentially, so I just like roasting, both of us roasting me, okay? Now, to members of the audience that didn't get it because they didn't know me, it wouldn't have made sense. But to those that knew me, oh, Jesus, it was funny. Because at one point, it's like, the point is, you do a scene, you randomly take a Post-it from you have to read out that Post-it. So Holly goes, oh, you know what Tom said to me? I went, no, what did Tom say to you? And she reads off something like I'd be a really shit drug dealer. Like, just something that just the audience wrote down the Post-it and they gave to us. And like, everyone like, haha, starts laughing. And I go, well, do you know what Tom said to me? And she was like, no, go ahead. What did Tom say to you? And I remove a Post-it from my left shoulder. You know, I'm covered in Post-its.
As you should be.
And I swear to you, Callum, I swear to you, on God, on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, it's Ramadan. I swear to you, the Post-it said, I'm from Oman.
What?
The
freak, bro.
So, fuck you. Man, I'm leaving this show.
No. You know what? I was actually going to talk about...
No, go away. No, it's fine.
Do you think you'll be able to talk during playing the guitar?
No, a girl.
You can certainly sing.
You can certainly sing.
She puts I won't even know this song. She puts the color inside of my world.
We were talking about Ed Sheeran's Divide, but it should be more on the topic Tom's multiplication skills, because he's just made an absolute tomfoolery of that album.
Yeah.
Where all the walls all continually change.
Wow.
Is this a Tom Wilson original?
No, it's a John Mayer song.
John Mayer.
I
So my long lost brother.
Steps with my heart in my hand. Now I'm starting to see.
It'd be a lot more impressive if he wasn't reading from
Maybe
Spotify
it's
lyrics.
nothing
That'd be very true. Yeah.
to do with me.
And biting his lip at the same time. It's a bit strange.
I am chewing gum.
Anyway,
We should change this show to Let Me Sing.
Let me see.
yeah, I know. Let me riz. More like.
Let me raise the audience with my fine vocal range.
No. Anyway, I wanted to kind of talk to you, Jack.
I don't belong on
Man
the
to
show.
man. I wanted to talk to you about what's going to happen to you next year.
Oh, true. Fact,
You must be
right.
extremely excited and nervous, I'm sure, of the journey that you are set to embark on. Would you like to explain?
Yeah, so basically, at the end of the summer, I'm going to have to take a stagecoach back to Glasgow. And a whole 2.5 hours. No, I assume you're referring to my year abroad.
Certainly am.
Well, I'm exploring the globe, some would say, or so to speak.
Almost like a Christopher Columbus, could we say?
Well, for many reasons, we're not going to say
Well,
that.
so exactly that. So Jack, a white man from Europe, is going over to South America, like Christopher Columbus.
Very
And
much like Christopher.
Jack, what are you planning on doing while you're there with the native population?
Explain where.
Because
You are
if you
going
are like
actually-
Christopher Columbus, I'd be very worried right now.
Well, initially on my scholarship applications, I put I would like to start a cartel, but my first one got rejected, so I had to rephrase a few of the points.
You're white?
I'd expect so. So instead, I chose to study abroad,
Okay,
wa-
okay.
to waffle a wee bit in the Spanish language.
Study chemistry abroad.
No, study Spanish literature and language.
Chemistry.
Oh yeah, chemistry and
To cook
chicken.
chicken for the lovely day.
Yeah, chicken. That's my
cook.
calling. Oof, that's a wee bit bright.
That's bright.
But so's Callum, so it makes sense. Anyway, as he was mentioning previously, I am taking a year abroad, so I'm visiting the exotic regions of Uruguay. Tom, do you know much about Uruguay? Because I don't know anything.
La capital de Uruguay
¿Ah,
es
sí?
el Montevideo.
¿Quieres cambiar este podcast en español?
Sí, por supuesto, pero mi español no
Puede
es
ser
tan
convertido
bueno.
si quieres.
Dime,
Dime, ¿alguna cosa interesante de Uruguay?
una cosa interesante de Uruguay. En 2010, al Mundial del 2010, el equipo de Uruguay fue un partido what's past football? They had a match.
Hicieron
Hicieron un partido de fútbol contra el Ghana.
Gana. Oh, sí.
Y el jugador Luis Suárez toca la pelota con su mano.
Con la mano, sí.
Con la mano. Y hay un penalti por el Ghana. Y no convierto
Sí.
no
marcó el gol, ¿no?
No marco el gol, pero no
Porque
sabe,
lo salvo con
no sabe
la mano.
cómo hablar en español en el pasado.
Es difícil, es un concepto...
Hay muchos años
Pero sí,
que han pasado.
estoy de acuerdo de lo que dijiste y esto fue un partido muy controversial para todo el mundo.
Sí.
Para ganar. de verdad.
Otra cosa interesante de Uruguay, el presidente de Uruguay, no sé si es el presidente actual o es el presidente del pasado, pero ese presidente no quiere vivir en la habitación del presidente, como la White House.
¿Por qué?
Porque fue un presidente por la población, por la gente.
Oh, así
Sí.
que él estaba contra el gobierno.
Sí.
Como...
El pueblo de Uruguay le gusta mucho ese presidente.
¿no?
Sí.
Y yo entiendo por qué. Es porque es un hombre de la gente,
Sí.
de la gente en la que importa, ¿no?
Muy interesante, mi amigos. Pero we have to go for a short break.
Yeah, Callum is a shite.
It's very true. And
Carlos,
Jack needs to throw up.
No, ¿qué idioma hablas?
Okay. We're going to go for a short song break. This actually was one of the first songs we played on Let Me Talk. This is Sam Galatry with Assumptions. And that was Tom with No Assumptions. And we are back. We got a little bit deep there, I won't lie. That was some very emotional. That was a very emotional display from me and Jack there. Talking about deep subjects, we are thinking of venturing into the topic of the unknown.
Let me cook.
Let Tom cook. All right, I want to hear Tom. All right, this is a very obvious. No, it's a very like overdone question, but I want to hear Tom's answer anyway. What is the meaning of life, bro? Go on. Why are we here?
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? That we'll do that one first, and then I'll do the other one, because that is something I've been contemplating for a while. To me, could you turn up the middle icon, please? Thank you. Oh, that's good. That's good. So,
Good. Yeah. So Right.
the meaning of life is a complex question, first of all, because no matter what religion you may be, or whatever your belief system is, you didn't choose to be on this earth. You were put there. You woke up one day when you were probably 7 or 8. You kind of gained consciousness, and you were like, no, gaining consciousness. Not you're born, obviously.
So
but-
silly. You're a silly goose. Shush.
But I think the meaning of life is what you choose it to be. And if we take it in terms of like, what meaning do you want your life to have? It's in your hands. Now, obviously, there's factors that obviously stop that, but that's a question for another day. If we simply go by the meaning, it's whatever you choose to grasp day by day. What do you want your life to mean? What do you want to be remembered by? So in a way, when it's all over, what do you want to be remembered as? What do you want your life to have meant?
Okay. Do you honestly think? Do you think?
Do you know what you're going to say?
Right, okay.
Do you know what you're going to say?
Do you think because after all this happens, after everything we've done after everything we do, after maybe like 80 years, 100 years on this earth, we die, like we go nowhere. I mean, as far as we know.
Well,
I don't want to bash any religions. We might do.
I do.
But then,
but I'm not religious.
Is there any meaning to anything we do right now? What is?
Yes.
Is it just purposeless? Then?
No, there's huge purpose. It's to do with the fact that you're not the only human on Earth. Your actions that you do not have to be life-changing in that you do not have to be Martin Luther King. You don't have to be Malcolm X. You don't have to be Nelson Mandela. However, everything you do on Earth will impact someone. It will... I mean, you think about it. The person that means the most to me in the world, and she's even no longer here, was my grandmother. And she wasn't perfect. She was not at all a perfect human being.
More than your mom?
I love my parents, but they probably... I had a very close relationship to my grandmother. She was my only grandparent remaining. But it's... I'm just giving an example, because she's obviously no longer here, my parents are still here. She was not perfect. I'm not going to lie and say my grandmother was a perfect individual, because she wasn't. She had a ton of flaws. But so does everyone. But every day I think of her and I think she made me a better person. She made me question things, and without her I wouldn't be who I am. So there is huge purpose to your life, whether it's a project that you're working on, a goal that you have to achieve, but it's also simply the impact you have on others. Does that make sense?
I really like my grandma too, to be honest.
Are we getting emotional?
No.
I mean, I can get emotional.
In all honesty, I don't think I remember enough about my grandparents. I wish I did. But they passed when I was kind of young, so I don't remember enough. So I've just sort of got this like perfect kind of like idea of them both.
Well, if we're talking in all honesty, I don't think my grandma remembers enough about me. But she does have dementia, so I can let her off. But no, I mean, on the topic of meaning of life, I think you see it from rather a legacy standpoint, whereas I'm sort of, as Paul McCartney once said, live and let die. So I feel like you've got to capture yourself in the moment. You got to just kind of go with it, go with the flow. As Liam Gallagher also once said, "Oh, I'm quoting all the best boys tonight." So it's not so much what is left of you; it's rather how you make the most of what you've got. Because no one can tell you whether you're going to live a century or live 2 minutes. You've just got to prosper in the moment, you know. Just make the most of your deal, because everyone has a different one, and luckily enough, we're very privileged to be here right now, and I think that's every reason to enjoy it. You know.
I 100% agree.
What do you guys think the concept of like love has to do with the meaning of life?
Well, I was going to actually, can I just slightly, not twist that question, but it was similar to what I was going to ask.
Go on.
Do you think that, two-part question linked to that. One, do you think soulmates are a thing? And secondly, do you think that people, in terms of like dating and stuff, do you think it's about going on as many dates as possible? Or do you think that actually ignore the soulmate, scratch the soulmate question. Do you think that when it comes to dating someone, and obviously as someone who has more, never had a successful love interest, do you think it's more about finding the right person? And I'm talking romantically here. I'm not talking about sexuality or like sexually or anything. Do you think it's about? Do you think the right person, when you want to date someone, the right person will be there? Like it will be a match, or do you think that's bullshit and it's just about like going on dates with someone and oh, this is fun and that's it?
I think the right person to talk to is Jack. To be fair,
that's fair. That is a fair point. That's a fair point.
Why do you think that, Callum?
Well, I mean, I've never been in a relationship.
I don't know. I just feel like you have more. You probably have more to say on the subject. I feel like.
But what is the pregunta?
Okay, I'll make it simple. Do you think it's about? Do you think, in terms of a relationship, do you think that it's about two people that will find each other? I'm not talking about soulmates here. They could break up, obviously, but do you think it's two people that will find each other, or do you think it's about because someone who's never been in a relationship and who's had more heartbreaks than I can count? Do you think it's about a relationship? Do you think it's about like two people that will find each other and they will date, or do you think it's more about going as many dates as possible?
I think the latter is certainly not the approach you want to take.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think.
Thinking, yeah.
Generally speaking, not as if I'm some sort of love guru, because trust me, I'm very much far from that. But I think normally when you meet someone, you get a certain impression from them that tends to not just go away, the next day. It sort of lingers around, and I think it's that kind of sentiment where you know that you found the one for you, or at least the one for that temporal point in time where you want to pursue it. Like you've got to have that. Like I want this to work for it to go anywhere. You can't have to like second guess yourself in terms of like finding a partner. And then I'm not exactly one to comment on marriage or any of those sort of concepts, but
Jack has 2 kids. He's hiding.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that I'm unaware of. In this.
How's Lola doing?
Yeah. I think. Shh. How's Lola?
Yeah, so your hidden child?
Shit,
we're on now. Shit.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Kinks banger.
Oh, that's a good song, to be fair.
I was going to say that's doing rather splendid. But on the topic of love in general, it's a tricky one, and I don't think anyone. I think persistence would probably be the right advice. Like nothing's easy. Well, why have you made me the designated? It reminds. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Frozen and those wee like trolls, right? You're calling me like the love doctor right now.
You can mend all the broken wounds.
Well, I mean, I feel like I don't have tons to speak on it, but from what I've learned, many people say it's one of the strongest feelings that you'll ever feel. Maybe aside from grief or heartbreak, as we talked earlier, actually. So I feel like with a feeling that strong, it must have a certain significance or importance within within the argument of the meaning of life. If love is something that can drive you to do crazy things, to do insane things, there must be something there of significance, and I think it's a very interesting topic to talk on in terms of that. I mean, I'm sure it's been talked about a million times.
I think
one of the constants throughout our whole existence, like on this planet, is the ability to like have love and affection for each other. Like, 400 years ago, the same shit happened. Like you'd see someone you really liked, you'd obsess over them, you wonder whether they liked you back, and maybe you had a heartbreak, maybe they went for someone else, or maybe they were with you and you felt an immense feeling of euphoria. And this kind of thing has happened for like thousands of years, and it's something that when we first experience it, we can't get a grasp of. But there's a million people before have felt it. So is it that unique of an experience, or is it just something that everyone must go through?
I mean, there will be some people that won't go through it. There are definitely some people who are aromantic. But I was thinking in terms of people who are oh fucking hell.
Do you think there's people that just go through it their life and they never feel love and
yeah,
affection?
that's aromantic people. Yeah, that is a thing. If someone is asexual, I do understand what they mean. But it's
I feel like that's different though. Like,
no, it's
I'm
completely
talking about like
different. I know what you mean.
A strong affection.
Oh no,
for-
but
for
that's exactly the
someone
point.
else.
Aromantic and asexual are completely different things. I'm completely not aromantic. That's why I was meaning in that.
That's a thing. Aromantic.
Yes, it's
So like
that's what
you
that's what
you'll
describing.
never. Does that not just mean like you don't care about people?
No, it's not that at all. It's that you can get friends and stuff, but think of. I mean, this is a deeply personal question, but
But then it depends. What
have you ever been
what-
in love? Have you ever been in love with someone? And it doesn't matter if it was successful or not. I'm not talking about
I
that.
haven't. No.
You have not. Interesting. Well, I'll give you.
That's why I feel like a sort of hypocrite talking about this.
not.
This
No,
subject.
I mean, I'll give you.
That's why I put the mic to Jack.
I'll give you an example in terms of. I mean, I'm on the asexual spectrum. That means that I feel very little to no sexual attraction, and only with people that I have deep feelings for. I've had deep feelings for a few people, and every time they've not liked me back. There was one situation where I thought that was the case, and I was deeply wrong. But that's what I was saying in terms of like to Jack and stuff. It's like it's one of those things to me where I've been wondering, because I was talking to one of my friends and he said, "Mate, just go on dates, just go on dates, because it's like one of these new things to me. Just go on dates and you'll find the right one." But I've been on dates with some people, and some of them are friends. Someone I was friends with, and there's a girl that went to go on a date with me, and we went on a date together, we went on 2 dates, and then she texted me saying, "Nah, it's better if we end up with friends." Do you think that it's like there are definitely some people that just will end up together, or do you think it's more of a case of like?
I think from what you previously touched on, like you can never go into love with intent, otherwise it's never going to work out. I mean, what are we defining love as? Like what kind of concept are we going for here? Like something that makes you like.
I feel like
Jack, come sit next to me.
I feel like you're probably the best one to be able to define it.
Jack, come sit
That's
next
what I'm
to me.
talking about.
Jack, come here.
How's it made you feel, and how would you define it? That's my question.
Well, what I must say is, it's never something that you intentionally go out and look for. It's not something that can be like found as such. It's more something that finds you. Not to sound like a cringy bastard, but like you never expect quite to feel a certain way, and then 1 minute later you're feeling all sorts of emotions that maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't have. Who knows? Depends on the context. And there's nothing that really prepares you for that. And I think what does kill is when you try and prepare for it too much. Because when you go in search of something, like most things in life, you're not going to find it. So
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I very much agree. That's a very good point.
So does that mean that you support the idea of fate then? That you essentially let life wash over you, and sort of be carefree in the way that you should trust whatever whatever life has planned for you, in that way. That you shouldn't go out and seek. You should just let what happens happen, essentially. Like, should we have an active role? Should we try and have an active role in our lives?
I mean, we all have an active role in our lives, otherwise we'd be pretty much deceased. But I do get what you're implying, and in all honesty, you don't want to have in terms of love, like for example, I find it a lot easier. I think it goes back to what you were saying. What is the meaning of life earlier on? We've all got this like deeper understanding of what we want for ourselves. And as I mentioned to you, I just want to enjoy it. I just want to take every moment as it goes. Yeah, just enjoy it.
Go out there,
But enjoy it
fucking
by
disciplined.
being fucking disciplined. And sometimes I'm not too disciplined, but at least I try and enjoy it. I think when you've got that mentality, you don't have to force a lot. So maybe that's what works for me. But yeah.
I feel like it's a very difficult mentality to maintain, though. Like, there's so many times where I've just told myself to just enjoy it, and your mind ends up like it's plagued by a plethora of different things. You know, whether that be the fact that we're stressed because we've got an assignment or a deadline or whatever. I think, like, obviously these things do matter, but what's the harm in taking some agency and just being like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want to do right now, regardless of the fact that I've got this coming up. Like, there's so many times, like, you know, like I said, like half an hour ago, that I would put off things with friends or maybe this and that because I thought, you know what, I've got to focus on this, and then I end up going home and spend 2 fucking hours on my phone. Like, I think there is like a certain importance of like having sort of like agency and being able to like go out and do the things that you want to do. So like this is where like it has conflict, because I'm saying you should let life wash over you, but then again, maybe you should take some responsibility. I don't know.
Almost smack the living shit out of me there. Take responsibility of yourself, or take responsibility of your future. Like what kind of?
Well, I think it's also like of yourself, right? Like your future and yourself. Like I think it's also it's very important to sort of like work on yourself and work on maybe the things that you lack. I don't know. For me recently, I don't know about you, Tom. I don't know about you, Jack. But recently, for me, patience has been something I really struggled with. And I think that is due to our short attention span as a generation. Patience is something that is like, you know, if it's something hasn't gone right, or if you know, I'm just waiting for an ad on YouTube, for example. Like I find it excruciating to look at a 30-second ad on YouTube now. 30 seconds of my life. Like, and that 30 seconds will wash by at any other time like nothing. And I don't know, like, for example, like we were talking about albums, right? I feel like it's surprising now that like listening to an album required a level of patience, and even watching a film requires a level of patience.
Well, I was talking about this with one of my friends the other day.
Consuming entertainment takes fucking patience.
Well, I was talking about one of my friends the other day. This is very much linked. She's a massive reader, and she absolutely loves reading, and it's part of her degree. And I told her, you know, and she loves movies and everything. I said, I can't watch a movie in one sitting alone. If I'm with friends,
is this Lauren?
No, it's my friend Neve. I can watch movies. I can't watch a movie in one sitting. I can't read a book, like unless like one book I really care about. But you can put any album, and I absolutely love albums. I mean, I probably listened this week to 5 different new albums. You can put an album in my ears, and I will, unless I've got like something important to do where I can't listen, I will listen to all of it, and I might listen to it twice. And she was saying that one is the short attention span. It might be my ADHD, but one is the short attention span. But it's also that she says a book and a movie you have to sit and pay attention, whereas music you can get around and do other things. So she says when it's something that requires a full attention, most humans, she says recently, and maybe it's because of our phones or other reasons, but we can't actually sit and keep on watching it.
That's interesting. Like. Obviously, like listening to something doesn't require your full attention. Like you can do other things, but would you not say that an album requires, like, or deserves your full attention?
But that's the weird thing. I get like it takes me a few listens, but when I was, I remember the album that had the most. It's not my favorite album. It's the album that had the biggest effect on me was The Wall. When I listened to it the first time, the whole way through, Pink Floyd, and that was in summer of 2019. I was on the train from Ottawa to Montreal, and I listened to it fully, and that was all I was doing. I wasn't looking at my phone. I was just looking out the window, and it really hit different. It's a very poignant album at times. It's about a guy that essentially goes from having nothing to becoming insane and a fascist dictator. It sounds crazy, but it's a very good album. It is a bit wild, but oops, just hit the mic. But yeah, it's kind of like when I feel like I can focus on an album, but it's something I have to watch and put my eyes on. I can't. But then again, I went up to my room and said, I'll be back in 10 minutes, guys, to my flatmates. And I come down, and my flatmate Jake goes, where were you the last 2 hours? He said, you'd be down 10 minutes. And I was just watching Instagram Reels. But maybe it has to do with purpose, though.
That could have been like 2 solid albums that you sat and listened to.
I know. But then again, I was wondering, like it's not about the meaning of life, but about your life having a purpose. Like I was thinking, like maybe last year, in 2022, most days I wake up and I'm like, right, this is what we're doing today. Now I'll be lazy as hell. I'm lazy as shit. I can't wake up in the morning. But once I'm up, shower, out, and I'm doing something. Whether it's going to the union and just working on something else, or just maybe it's I might get a terrible grade on the project, but I'm still working on it. I'm like, this is it. These days, I don't just wake up and I wake up and I'm like, oh fucking hell, just lay down on my bed. I'm just like, well, I can just stay here for now, even though I've got things to do. But that's the idea of purpose. Do you feel like when you wake up, like you have a purpose to do something?
Well, personally, I've got the most abhorrent alarm in the morning. It's these absolute wee birds that just keep yapping in my ear. So if anything can give you a purpose, it's that.
To kill them.
To kill them or to kill yourself, either or. But yeah, no, it is an overlooming issue for humans, like finding a purpose, because sometimes it can be a wee bit difficult, especially when you're down in the dumps. But I find it best to just slap yourself in the morning. This is my routine. I don't know if Callum might have seen it last year.
Tell me. Hoppy, go ahead.
So I'll wake up, I'll hear the birds, and I'm like, oh, not again. I'll spank myself on the right cheek like that. I don't know if
I thought this was going somewhere else, just spanking.
Well,
Jack just took out his ass on air and just spanked it, by the way.
I'm not, no comment. But so I find that normally that helps like reinvigorate the senses.
Yeah.
And then what I'd like to do is I'd grab the cleanest towel I can possibly find and head to the shower.
Okay.
and obviously, like I feel like after a shower, general consensus is you're awake.
Do you have cold, hot shower?
Ooh, I used to have cold showers.
You're insane. Carry on.
A fair few years ago, I was partial to a cold shower, but these days I've normalised myself, and I only hit the heated ones.
Yeah, fair.
I like to rinse Callum's heating system as much as I can. So after that, that's me. I'm raring. Well, these days anyway. It does depend on your mindset largely. Depends on how life's going. Like if the vibes are good, then you're good. You're heading out the gaff, and you're having a productive day. Like Callum, what's your take on this?
What's my take on my getting ready routine?
Get ready with me with Callum Mayer.
I'm Callum Mayer, and this is my morning routine.
Right. My morning routine's horrendous. I wake up and it's a saucy little. At the very, so not saucy. At the very least, a 20-minute stroll on social media. Stroll and scroll on social media.
Okay,
it's horrendous. Shush. And then I shall arise from my humble resting place, grab my towel and prepare myself for a shower, and I will go to the door and find out there's someone already in there showering and singing. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so then I'll sit in my living room, just chilling, with no.
Does Chafin sing in the shower?
No, you sing in the shower, I reckon. I'm a big believer in singing in the shower.
I believe in singing in the shower. I play some music in the shower. It keeps me on my toes.
Mm-hmm. But
we have 2 minutes left.
Why are you your toes in the shower?
Okay, so right, okay, this is my.
Do you shower with shoes on?
Okay, this is my last question, right? Do you guys think that you would have rather? Do you wish you were born and maybe like
No.
30 years ago without social media?
I wish
You were born in a time without social media?
I like the.
Or do you wish that you had your mind right now and social media was just completely wiped?
No, it's not the issue of social media. To me, it's an incredible tool, and it's helped people, especially in the third world, gain a voice. However, I wish the negative part of it is the addicting aspect of it. It's like nicotine. It really is. I used to laugh at that when I was younger, but it really is. So, I wouldn't say I would rather have been born 30 years ago. In terms of that,
I guess addictions are always there. Like you are going to be addicted.
But look
to
at the news narrative.
something.
Look at the news narrative though, in terms of like the positive of social media. If you look at the news narrative 30 years ago, it was 3 news companies, depending on what section of the political aisle we stepped on, that would kind of tell you what you wanted to hear. They report an event, but they put different sides on it. Whereas if you think of how the death of the murder of George Floyd, should I say, the fact that someone captured on social media, it didn't just become a case of, the police can shape this narrative or the media can shape this narrative. People
Yeah.
saw what happened.
Yeah,
So in a way, there's a
we
huge
know
positive.
what good social media has. I'm talking more about like
In terms of
how
negative addiction,
it shaped
no.
our life negatively, though. I
In
think
the
it has. I think it's more negative than positive. It's completely changed the way that
It's
people
60-40
think.
towards negative, I'd say. Would you agree, Jack? 60-40?
the thing is we weren't doing too terribly beforehand.
But we do.
Do you look at the mental health rates. People are more depressed than ever.
I think people are more talking about the mental health now, which is the reason for it. I don't think people are less depressed.
Have you not seen like the stats on it? It's crazy.
I wouldn't say people
Like
would talk about it.
people scared about their body image. People this and that.
Hey, Callum.
Like, it's crazy.
Hey, Callum. Excuse me. Grow up, man. Be a man. Keep quiet. That's what you'd hear. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I
Keep-
think
keep it inside.
I do think that could have
Midnight.
Been, what? And you think that could have
Midnight.
only been
What, midnight? We need to end the show, but we will keep on talking about this.
all right? Okay.
Thank you very much.
This has been Let Me Talk. This has been an
Let Me Talk.
interesting episode.
The shows will be uploaded tomorrow. They have been edited and they will be uploaded tomorrow.
Bye, guys. It's been a pleasure. I'll turn up in the future.
Jack,
Hopefully.
Jack, please put your balls away.
Sorry. I thought you liked it, Tom, but
Zzz.
okay.
All right. See you next week. Goodbye.
Hasta luego.